Hello, first grade. You are November. Calendar grade. All about fractions. So we introduced the idea of fractions with cookies and sandwiches and animals eating them. So I took these pictures for you to remind yourself what it is. You wouldn't put the first calendar grid marker in your observation chart because you're like unsure at that point what's supposed to go in there. Come the second one, then you're going to put something in there because someone ate that. The bear ate one whole cookie. So there we go. It's a whole. He ate the whole thing. Then we don't write in anything for the third because it's the picture of it. And then the fourth, we have two dogs now eating it because there's two parts. And each dog got half. And we practice writing our whole, our half, and our fourth all month long. Bridges does say to try to make use of the language of halves and fourths as you're talking through it. So for example, on the third calendar grid marker, the cookie's cut up into halves. So then you practice counting them by halves. 1/2, 2 halves make one whole. So you could have a circular cookie in front of you, and every other day, right, you'd have that circle, and then you'd literally cut it into two parts in front of them, and then you would hold up one part of it, and they'd have to say 1/2. If you hold up two parts, they'd have to say 2 halves, 2 parts, 2 halves, or one whole cookie. If I hold up one, it would be 1/2, not just one, we would say 1/2 of the cookie. So that could be done on the fourths too. You would have your circular cookie, you'd show them you're cutting it up into those 4 parts. You hold up one of them, they say 1/4. You hold up two of them, they're gonna say 1/4 and 1/4 make 2/4. Or that's the same thing as half the cookie. So you're already getting into some equivalent fractions there in first grade. You wouldn't have to write any of that down. That's just like showing it in front of the class. Students, for any activities that you want to do with them, you could have them cutting up their own halves and fourths and labeling each one, putting 1/2 on each side of the half cookies. The square sandwiches, they could do it themselves one time. This one, the fraction game, where you color 5, first one to color 5 by spinning the 1, 2, 3, 4 spinner. And we can take turns by using tally marks. Coloring in, okay, if I got 3, I'm gonna color in 3 of the fourths. Just instead of just saying 3 of them, we can label them as fourths. Oh man, I got 3 of the fourths. That's almost the whole circle. Oh my gosh, I'm doing so good, right? Okay, all right. First 1 to 5 wins. Okay, activity number 4, if you want to do it. This one looked really good for something I would use in the intervention group because you get to trace the numbers to 30. Then you put them on the calendar for November. So they get double practice for writing their numbers. And then on top of that, they have to write out today is whatever, November 2021, and then they get to show the date and tally marks. Tally 1, tally 2, tally 3, tally 4, and a diagonal makes the group of 5. So I really like that one, and I almost want to do it like once a week just to get a lot of number writing practice. But that is my group that needs that. All right, calendar collector. This one, you're collecting hours each day. Now this is a lot of information, but really all that it comes down to is you're collecting 1 hour every school day, and you're coloring in that hour. And we start at 12 o'clock midnight because that is when the day actually starts. The new day starts. And I'm saying that because this is what I would say to the kids. 12 o'clock midnight. It's in the middle of the night. And then the next day we're going to collect, or that first day we're going to collect 1 hour. If we go 1 hour, we're now at 1 o'clock, and we went 1 hour. That's still in the middle of the night. What should you be doing at 1 o'clock in the morning, in the middle of the night? You should be sleeping, right? You should still be sleeping. And then you would circle. We've gone 1 hour so far, and every day you just keep on moving down, right? Until you hit this 13th hour. That's where it gets weird, right? Because now you're switching over because we hit 12 o'clock again, but this time it's 12 o'clock midday. So this is where it changes from AM to PM. So that's the idea there. If you want some songs for the kids, Rocking Around the Clock, original song. This is Song with the Kids. I have the wrong link for that one, so I'll put it in there. You could also set an alarm. I know you have a lot of alarms that probably go off during the day, but this one could be a different type of alarm, like an old school alarm clock that you have just randomly go off every day or once a week. You say, oh, today is the alarm clock day. It's going to go off sometime today at a surprise o'clock. So then when it goes off, not during math time, at another time you're all in there, and then we stop. We drop our things, or just stop and look at the clock and figure out and make it with our arms maybe as to what o'clock it is, and then write what it looks like in numbers. Some clock practice page for kids is right there for them to practice writing the numbers on the clock. And then you also have them doing other o'clock practice. I liked these key questions for me to like run through myself as a teacher to be like, what other types of questions could I ask as we're doing the clock stuff each day. Days in school. You're used to already doing and counting how many days in school with tens and ones. You're used to writing equations already. Just make sure you're writing equations that you can explain using the picture. So if I'm writing 50, here it is, they covered up the other part, so I just see 50 minus 8. If I take away these 8, that's how many we're on. We're on 42. Now that's a tougher one, right? And then also trying to get that tree in there sometimes to show the part whole. And this is the focus this month is saying, how many more days till we hit the 50th day? Are we getting close? Kids could fill out this sheet once a week to see how close we are to that 50th day, or maybe you just want to do it once, whatever. All right. Now we go to computational fluency. Computational fluency is all about doubles and halves. So here you have these cards. I'm just showing you all different things you could do with it. You could say, okay, we're going to go on our fingers today. All right, I want you to put up 3 on one hand. Okay, now I want you to double it. 3 plus 3 equals 6. So we have our motion there. Okay, let's find the card that goes with that. So we stick them all up there. Oh, there it is. 3 and 3 make 6. Okay, now I want you to go to your 10-frame mat and show that with Unifex cubes. 3 and 3 equals 6. Awesome. Okay, now what, let's look at 6. And what do we have on our fingers? 3s. Let's say it. Repeat after me. 3 is half of 6. 3 is half of 6 because 3 plus 3 is 6. If I take my 6 and I cover up half of them, so I could take my hand and cover up half the part on the bottom, I'm left with 3. I'm left with the same amount because 3 is half of 6. So you're not only trying to use double in your vocabulary this month, you're also trying to use halves. This here would be another activity if you would take a card and then come up with a story for it. Now, if you have the 8 card, this was an example of a kid saying, well, my truck has 4 wheels and it's actually pulling a trailer that has 4 wheels on it too. I don't know if a kid would actually come up with that, but yeah, that's there. And then you have a practice page. All right, number line. If you haven't introduced the 40s family, or it's not even on your number strip, go ahead, get it on there, introduce it, start counting forward and backward within these numbers, doing any type of activity there, and playing Guess My Number. Then, when you think your class is ready, get your 50s ready, and go ahead and start introducing those numbers and counting forward and backward there. And then you have your Decade Day celebration for the 50th day. You could actually start celebrating like way back in the 1950s what it was like, since it's the 50th day today. It's the decade day. What was it like back in the 50s? So we're all gonna wear stuff like back in the 50s, or we just look at pictures and music from the 50s that day or something, and do that same thing on the 60s and blah, blah, blah. All right, there's November. Bye.